How to write the research ethics consideration. When writing the ethical consideration for a research paper, it is important to address the potential ethical issues that may arise throughout the research process. Here is a step-by-step guide on how to write the ethical consideration on your research paper. Step number 1. Write the introduction. Example: begin by introducing the concept of ethical consideration in research and emphasize the importance of addressing these issues. Mention that ethical concerns can occur at various stages of the research, from the pre-study phase to the reporting of the data. Example: according to Creswell, ethical issues can occur throughout the research process, prior to conducting the study through reporting the data. Step number 2. Identify the anticipated ethical issue. Identify and describe the specific ethical issue that is anticipated for the study. Example: the primary ethical issue that was anticipated for this study related to the researcher's role at the study site. As an employee at the study site, an institutional connection existed between the researcher and the participants. While access to study participants and data collection was relatively convenient, the researcher's status as an employee and role within the institution was a concern, specifically that this may have negatively influenced the authenticity of the participants' responses. Step number 3. Refer to relevant literature. Refer to relevant literature or establish ethical guidelines that provide recommendations for addressing the identified ethical issue. For example, to protect against this, the researcher followed strategies as recommended by Birx and Mills. Step number 4. Outline the strategies employed. List and explain the strategies employed to address the anticipated ethical issue. Example: the researcher established trust in participants through clearly communicating the general purpose of the study, both through written materials and narrative interaction, guaranteeing confidentiality before, during, and after the study, and demonstrating transparency of process. The researcher maintained an audit trail, a record of research activities, changes in research direction, and rationale for choices throughout the study. Also, the researcher employed the technique of member checking, a process that involves participants reviewing data collected during interviews for accuracy to ensure correct representation of information. The researcher made clear that participants may withdraw from the study at any time and may decline from answering any question or questions while continuing in the study. Finally, the researcher identified a neutral site in which to interview the participants. Step number 5. End with a conclusion. Conclude the ethical consideration section by reiterating the importance of adhering to ethical principles and following recommended strategies to protect the rights and well-being of the participants. Note that the step-by-step guide provided here is based on the specific example given. Ethical consideration may vary depending on the nature of the research, the participants involved, and the ethical guidelines related to the field of study. It is crucial to consult the specific ethical guidelines or institutional review board requirements applicable to your research context. So that is how you write the ethical consideration of your research paper. If you have questions, comment it down below. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe. Thank you for watching, mga ka-wise researchers!